Day one was about Brazil.
Neymar has scored Brazil's first goal of this World Cup on home soil. The number 10 has done it.
Day two was about the holders being humiliated.
It's still Iron Robin. This is incredible. 5-1 and a goal for the ages.
Now on a Saturday night in the Amazon jungle, it's about England.
And here we go.
We're nervous, just as you are at home.
Away go England, left to right.
It always feels the same. Are you ready?
When you put the England shirt on, you play with pride, you play, with your heart.
It's a great honour to play for your country.
There's no denying it that the World Cup's huge.
Here's Gerrard, great chance, 1-0 England!
I think it'll be an incredible moment, the moment we step out onto the field.
The ultimate goal is to win the World Cup.
Rooney heads it down and in!
To lead my country out in the World Cup in Brazil, it's an unbelievable feeling.
And now the opportunity is yours to really take possession of the stage.
4 years is a long time to wait, but the waiting is almost over. In under an hour, England's World Cup will be underway. Steven Gerrard will lead 10 of his teammates into their first game of Brazil 2014 against a proud footballing nation who've been champions of the world 4 times. Like many of you back home, the England players grew up wanting to be Lineker, Charlton, Gascoigne or more. From Manchester to Liverpool, Southampton to Shrewsbury, they wanted to play for their country, and tonight 11 will do so on the grandest stage of them all. And the
two teams are in the tunnel. Andrea Pirlo has shaken hands with Roy Hodgson as well as the England captain Steven Gerrard, and he just has a little glance as well to his left at Andrea Pirlo. I can see that on the giant screen towards the England team as Roy Hodgson, the gentleman that he is actually going across the Italian bench and shaking the hand of every Italian member on that bench. What was it, 13 years ago when he left Italian football, and now in his grey suit Roy Hodgson has a little glance around the tunnel, and he will be feeling extremely proud. I remember when England qualified for the World Cup, and what an honour it will be for him tonight. He's of course encountered a World Cup before with Switzerland in 1994, but this is his first game at the World Cup, managing your own country. So a proud moment for Roy Hodgson, and I'm sure this will be a proud moment too for Steven Gerrard, because tonight he joins an elite band of names: Billy Wright, Bobby Moore and David Beckham. And now you can add Steven Gerrard to that list to lead England in 3 major tournaments. The FIFA flag is carried out onto the pitch by some boys and girls wearing bright yellow shirts and navy blue shorts. There is the FIFA fanfare. Everybody with their smartphones is trying to capture that moment, as now the referee will come out. He'll take the Brazuca ball off the podium, and behind him Steven Gerrard and Andrea Pirlo lead out England and Italy, and there is an explosion of noise in the jungle, live in the house on 5 Live. The England supporters behind me, 2 of them have replica World Cup trophies. I can make out a cuddly Shrek in a miniature Wayne Rooney top. There are 2 fans dressed as English knights. They must be losing some pounds tonight, because what is notable, when I first started talking pitch side, there was the breeze. That breeze now has dissipated as we get ready for the national anthem ahead of the opening game for England in Group D in the 2014 World Cup. England supporters behind me with their arms and fists clenched. And now we get ready for the national anthem of Italy here in Manaus. Above the stadium, a helicopter hovers as England will now go down the line. In fact, the Italians will go down the line. Andrea Pirlo leading the Italian team, shaking the hands of all of the England players. Before the England national anthem as well, I noticed that Daniel Sturridge had a bottle of water and he just poured it over his face. Because what is interesting is that breeze has disappeared that was maybe here 45 minutes ago. Speaking to Steven Gerrard, and we've spoken on many times, whether it be in Portugal, Miami, or indeed Rio and Manaus, he said, we've talked the talk, now we've got to walk the walk. The England players pose for their team photo. Everybody can remember Bloemfontein 4 years ago and how they capitulated against Germany. England have an excellent record in opening games in a World Cup. They haven't been beaten since 1986. How will they fare in their opening game in Group D? Pitchside in Manaus on 5 Live. But very soon you'll hear the commentary team of Mike Ingham, Danny Mills and Alan Green as Joe Hart wanders over and gives the thumbs up to the England supporters.
So Brazil came from behind to win their opening game. Then we had Spain, the world champions, thrashed by Holland. Today, arguably an even bigger upset, Uruguay losing to Costa Rica. But for most of you listening to 5 Live, this is where the World Cup begins. England relatively unburdened by expectation, more Cubs than Lions in the starting 11, fresh faces, exciting players, we hope. This is the starting 11. Goalkeeper Hart, defence Johnson, Cahill, Jagielka and Baines, then Gerrard and Henderson, Sterling, Rooney and Welbeck, and finally Sturridge. Italy are without goalkeeper and captain Buffon, replaced by Sirigu. Their defence, Darmian, Paletta, Barzagli and Chiellini. Then Marchisio, Pirlo, the key man and captain tonight, and De Rossi. Then Verratti, Balotelli and Candreva. The officials are Dutch. We've got in referee Bjorn Kuipers, easily one of the best referees in the world of football. He's just checking, as always, in these penultimate seconds before kick-off, of which I think we've got a few remaining. Television all around the globe will want their advertising finished and get ready for the start of this game. Your thoughts, Danny? Final thoughts before kick-off?
Well, just looking very, very quickly, the formation's very, very interesting. Wayne Rooney has gone to the left-hand side. Looks indeed that Sterling is going to play in that number 10 role off Daniel Sturridge. Pirlo looks like he may play further forward, with De Rossi being the holding player.
England's World Cup is underway. Italy dressed in blue, England all in white. We'll save those red shirts for when they're absolutely necessary. Thank you very much indeed. Italy in possession at the moment with De Rossi. And looking for movement down the right-hand side. It'll be interesting to see how the high temperature affects the pace of play. It's hit long towards Balotelli. A cross came Gary Cahill, and Cahill puts it out of play for a throw into Italy deep inside the England half. Italy playing from right to left as we look out from our high commentary position, but it's beautifully centred over the halfway line. Pirlo chips the ball down the right hand side, slightly ahead of his target, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Just confirm those, well, slight changes that maybe we expected. De Rossi is going to be the holding player for Italy. In front of that is a four-man midfield with Pirlo, Verratti, Marchisio and Candreva. At England, Wayne Rooney playing on the left-hand side. It's Raheem Sterling playing off Daniel Sturridge, although it does look like that Sterling and Rooney in particular are going to move around.
They are. I mean, currently Welbeck was playing behind Sturridge. It's just flexibility, fluidity in that front four for England. They lose the ball, and then that flip was slightly high by Johnson on Chiellini, and I think it's a free kick to Italy. Chiellini looked at Johnson. What does he expect? It's an early challenge in a World Cup game, and it's a free kick to Italy. The stadium isn't full. The Arena Amazonia, it holds allegedly around 40,000. There's going to be a grotesque white elephant after the World Cup because there isn't a football club in this city capable of filling it. But there you go. That's what happens to countries when they stage a World Cup. It happened in South Africa as well. No doubt it will happen markedly in Qatar, if it ever gets to Qatar in 8 years' time. We concentrate on Brazil 2014. 5 Live, your station, to listen to everything that matters in the World Cup. England with a throw-in. Johnson to take it, short of the halfway line. He throws it towards Sturridge. Cleared by Italy. Pirlo got a nudge in the back there from Jordan Henderson, but it's back now to Paletta. And Paletta finds Barzagli. Barzagli to Paletta once more. Midway inside his own half. On to Pirlo. No one obviously at the moment is picking up Pirlo, and maybe they should be after a glorious pass like that. Forward to Marchisio, wide to the far side of the field. Ball played into the 6-yard box for England, and it's cleared by Phil Jagielka out to play on the far side for a throw-in to Italy. Candreva, who is genuinely a winger for club and country, takes the throw-in and throws it back to De Rossi. De Rossi looking for Candreva once more, then he was marked, so he turns and plays it back to the halfway line. Now it's taken up by Pirlo. Pirlo forward to Marchisio. Marchisio's pass was loose, and England clear it. And here's Sturridge into Sterling. Really good run through the inside left position. Welbeck to his left as well. Sterling doesn't need him at the moment. Then he shoots from long range. Goodness gracious! I thought that was into the net initially, but it was just an optical illusion as the ball crashed into the side netting. I didn't think the goalkeeper delivered it. Go.
Very, very positive from Raheem Sterling. A great start. Alan almost getting very, very excited. The ball from the angle hit the side netted. Looks from some angles surely, but it might have just sneaked into the top corner. But a great start from Raheem Sterling. Got the ball and ran at people, and that's why we wanted him in the side.
I remember many years ago at Anfield, Ian Rush shot, and the ball actually hit an advertisement hoarding behind the goal, but it flew so quickly past the goalkeeper it seemed to nestle in the back of the net. But I was the only one at Anfield who thought it was a goal. Jimmy Armfield very quietly said, "It's not a goal, Alan." Neither was that from Sterling, but it was a flash from the 19-year-old from Liverpool. One of 5 Liverpool players in this England starting 11. 2 from Everton, 2 from Manchester United, 1 from Manchester City, Joe Hart, that's the goalkeeper, and then of course Gary Cahill, the lone representative from outside the northwest. That's poor from Chiellini, giving the ball away to Welbeck, but Welbeck's first touch not great, though he has won a throw-in midway inside the Italian half, near side of the field. Johnson's going to take it. Now Rooney is up in the D of the Italian penalty. The throw goes to Sturridge. Sturridge controls it well, passes it back to Welbeck. Welbeck into Sterling, edge of the penalty area, tried to beat a defender. Ball rebound to Henderson. Henderson's shot is saved by the goalkeeper. Still in play, near side of the field. Sturridge, right of the penalty area. Sturridge checks onto his left foot, onto his right foot, teasing the defender one way then the other. Chips it into the near post. Good run by Welbeck. Tries to backheel the ball to Sturridge. It's cleared by Italy, who made the interception, and look how deep Balotelli is. Near side of the field, halfway inside his own half. Plays it back to Marchisio. That's a good ball by Marchisio to the far side. And Darmian over the halfway line. Now, Italy attack with Candreva. Candreva level with the edge of the England penalty area. It's quite a bright start to the game, particularly for England. 2 enterprising shots on goal from Sterling and then Henderson. Now Pirlo flicks the ball forward, but Balotelli had retreated rather than going forward, and the ball bounces through to Joe Hart.
Really good start from England. Raheem Sterling's been involved in the best 2 moves so far. His shot into the side netting, and then a jinking little run, came back to Henderson, hit it, another very, very good strike. Sirigu, well, a good save low to his left hand side, and that'll do him the world of good in terms of confidence. But England started very, very brightly.
Here's Darmian on the far side of the field. He's another versatile defender for Italy. He's played right back, he's played left back, central defence for his club Torino. Tonight he's at right back for his country, and it's near side of the field. Italy in possession, back to Barzagli and on to Verratti, of whom Gianluca Vialli was speaking so effusively before kick-off. On to Candreva, just over the halfway line, back to De Rossi. Verratti available again, and now Pirlo almost standing on the centre spot to De Rossi. Italy patient. This is what we expect from them. They don't always start World Cups well. In fact, they started 4 years ago absolutely abysmally as World Cup holders and went out of the group stage in South Africa. Here's Balotelli, inside right channel for Italy. Balotelli, back to Pirlo, and De Rossi once more. Verratti makes himself available, deeper than De Rossi. The pass is inside though to Marchisio. Marchisio inside left channel, onto Chiellini, up towards the England penalty area. Chiellini presses in low, good dummy by Pirlo. Pirlo lets the ball run, and no attempted shot on goal, not at the moment. Verratti, good spell of possession this from Italy. Then it's flicked into the England penalty area. Gary Cahill heads it away, drops to Pirlo. Pirlo runs into the box, appeals for handball, and then there was a shot wide by Chiellini. They're all appealing to the Dutch referee. There was an England hand on the ball inside the penalty area, but Kuipers, the referee, ignores it.
Well, Pirlo played a lot further forward than we maybe expected. Just tried to dink the ball over Glenn Johnson. Glenn Johnson, hand right by his side. Yes, it did hit him on the arm. Nothing he could do from that range. And no, a really good game so far. I think England almost playing on the counter-attack, if you like. You know, we know they have that pace in Sturridge and Raheem Sterling. England having to concede a little bit too much of possession. I think they've got to be wary in the final third. You know, when Pirlo and Verratti get on the ball, they're looking for those little slide rule passes or dinks over the top.
8 minutes gone in Manaus. England 0, Italy 0. You're listening to 5 Live, your World Cup station of Brazil 2014. Italy have now settled. De Rossi slides the ball through. Played on to the far side by Candreva. Crossed into the England penalty area. Loops in the air, I think off a defender. I think off Jagielka, into the safe hands of Joe Hart. Joe Hart was sweating profusely, according to Ian Dennis, in the warm-up. Declined to wash his hair. Leaves that for the ads. Great ball by Rooney to the near side. England right. Good control by his club colleague Danny Welbeck. Now taken up by Daniel Sturridge. Glenn Johnson to his right. Played forward to Johnson. Early cross into the penalty area. Slightly too high for Welbeck. Caught by Sirigu, the goalkeeper, and immediately thrown out to Pirlo.
Decent ball in from Glenn Johnson on the right-hand side. As you said, just a little bit too high, and Sirigu came with an easy catch. But a very open game so far. I think, you know, so far this World Cup, we've all been a little bit surprised of how teams have started and maybe attacked more than they would normally. And
remember, we haven't had a draw yet so far in the tournament. Many people felt when this draw was made, England, Italy and Manaus, the first of England's games in the group, it looked nailed on to be 0-0. But it's an enterprising start from both teams. Here's Verratti, a little deeper than we expected him to play. To Chiellini, operating at left back tonight. Into Paletta of Parma, and onto Barzagli of the champion Juventus. De Rossi of Roma, and Verratti once more. Like the goalkeeper Sirigu, plays in France now for Paris Saint-Germain. Back to De Rossi, and England are relatively happy at the moment that Italy have the possession, particularly when Pirlo overhits the pass straight through to Joe Hart. Hart throws out to the far side, and it's with Leighton Baines. On to Wayne Rooney. Rooney leaves it to the skipper Gerrard, and into Jordan Henderson inside the centre circle. Onto the near side. Cesare Prandelli evident in the technical area at the moment. No sign of Roy Hodgson. Here's Danny Welbeck approaching the Italian penalty area. Plays it wide to Sturridge. Once more you see the fluidity of those front four players for England. Now it's with Gerrard to Baines on the far side of the field. Baines in now to Raheem Sterling. Sterling looking to play a 1-2. Didn't quite come off. Rooney still might win the ball for England. Didn't quite do so. Italy clear, then they give it away. Shot by Welbeck wide.
It was Paletta that gave the ball away unnecessarily, straight into Danny Welbeck's feet, 25 yards from goal. Good touch, didn't quite catch it cleanly, just dragged it across the face of goal. But again, positive from England. They're working the Italians very, very hard.
From the goal kick, which was taken short by Italy, it's with De Rossi. De Rossi, who's deeper than Pirlo so far in the game. Good ball towards a colleague on the halfway line, flicked on to Chiellini. Over the halfway line, the left back to this. That was a hard pass in to Balotelli. Balotelli made something of it, and Verratti collects it. Now to De Rossi again. Man free in the far side of the field. That's Darmian, the right fullback, but he's ignored. It's played to the left side for Italy. Chiellini into Pirlo. Just signed a new 2-year contract with his club at 35 years of age. Outstanding, Andrea Pirlo. Pirlo now leaves it for Candreva. And on it goes to the far side of the field, to Darmian. Darmian into Candreva once more. Italy very, very patient. De Rossi, that's a good ball to the left side. And Chiellini, relatively unmarked. Chiellini into Marchesio. Pirlo once more. Pirlo's looking to Darmian towards the far side. Plays it accurately. Good control from the fullback. He knocks it back to De Rossi. No substantial forward movement from Italy at the moment, though. Passing the ball sideways. Dangerously, though, when they change gear. Now the ball swung in towards Balotelli, the head of Balotelli, and it's easily caught by Joe Hart.
England allowing Italy to have the ball, up until now with comfortable possession. But what they're doing, they're staying organised.
Good control by Welbeck. Feeds it on quickly to Sturridge. Sturridge cutting it from the right side. Takes on Paletta into the penalty here. Trying to pull it back. He was just blocked by another defender, which is as well for Italy. But it was a good run by Daniel Sturridge.
Again, positive from Daniel Sturridge, showing that he's got the legs on those Italian defenders. That will worry them. The only slight problem for England is that the Italian fullbacks are both getting forward at times. The midfielders aren't picking them up. And their formation is more of a 4-1-2-2-1 with Candreva and Verratti sort of playing off Balotelli, if you like, and sometimes they're just finding those balls in those little pockets in between Steven Gerrard, Jordan Henderson and the English defence. That's the only time that England look in a little bit of trouble. Sterling
just tapped the ankle of Verratti, so it's a free kick to Italy, taken quickly. Chiellini approaching the England penalty area. His pass should have been collected properly. Henderson intercepted though, and needlessly the referee blew for a free kick. England had possession and could have started a counter-attack, wanted to start a counter-attack, but now they're bringing the ball back to where the referee wants the free kick. Pitch side is Ian Dennis.
Breathless here, Alan. That breeze that was around 45 minutes ago could do with returning, I think, from the players' point of view. It's stifling pitch side, but the England supporters behind me, as you may well hear, are in excellent voice.
14 minutes played. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC, your World Cup station. England 0, Italy 0. England with those 2 early shots on goal that were certainly the second of them from Jordan Henderson, provoked a save from Sirigu. The first one by Raheem Sterling fooled me. I thought it was the net. Unfortunately, it was only the side now.
Got all excited, didn't you, Alan, for a minute?
It's the most excited I've been in your company, Danny, for a few days now. Let's put it that way.
Hey, we've got a long time together. It's only going to get worse, don't worry.
Yeah, no. Cahill for England. On to Johnson. Johnson over the halfway line. In to Welbeck. Welbeck loses it. Pirlo takes it up for Italy. Holding off 2 England players, but then he runs into a third, Jordan Henderson. And it's now Welbeck again. No one down the right side. It's back to Henderson. Swept by the Liverpool player to an Everton fullback on the far side. Leighton Baines. Into Sturridge. Inside the penalty area. Sturridge back to Welbeck. And now taken up by Gerrard, about 40 yards out from the Italian goal. He glides the ball to Glenn Johnson down the near side. The England right. Johnson controls it well. Moves infield, shoots wastefully. It's wide, and it's a goal kick.
A little bit over-ambitious from Glenn Johnson. We have seen him cut in from the right full-back area before. Have some decent shots in towards goal. That one just snatched at it a little bit. Panicked a little bit, if nothing else. But No complaints from England so far. All the players are getting a good feel of the ball. They started quite brightly. They've just got to keep their concentration. That could be the only thing that lets England down.
We are quite close to the equator here, in the Amazonian city of Manaus, and it went from clear blue sky very quickly to total darkness above the arena, brilliantly floodlit. And it's made for a top match between two top countries. Here's Verratti for Italy, back to De Rossi in the centre circle. Pirlo available. He chooses not to play it to Pirlo. It comes to the left side to Chiellini. Now Marchesi back to De Rossi. Italy slow in their build-up. Verratti, Darmian available on the far side. The pass is shorter there, and it's Candreva up to the edge of the England penalty area. Then he looks back to Verratti, wide to Darmian on the far side. Candreva once more, standing on the ball, and now played deep back towards the centre circle, towards De Rossi, to Pirlo. De Rossi once more. They'll wait and they'll wait and they'll wait until they see an angle where they can play an acute pass through, like this one from Pirlo to Darmian on the far side of the field. Back to Candreva, his first time cross, too long for two Italian colleagues inside the penalty, straight into the arms of Joe Hart. 17 minutes gone, 0-0, England and Italy on 5 Live. Here's Henderson to Welbeck. England started very brightly, but the Italians have been in command and possession of the last few minutes now.
Yeah, but I think we expected that. We know the Italians are always going to have an awful lot of possession. I think Verratti's just given a foul away on Raheem Sterling.
He must have been off the ball.
Yeah, well, just grabbed his shirt, didn't want him to go forward, got in his way. Typical Italian defending, if you like. So England doing very, very well up till now. Pirlo is looking for that little ball, dinking it over the top, that little floated right foot pass, looking for runners going either from midfield or from Balotelli. I think they scored like that in one of their warm-up games, and that's a definite tactic that they're trying to employ.
Gerrard played the resultant free kick to Johnson. Back to Gerrard. Jagielka on to Cahill, still inside his half. The England half, that is. Up to the halfway line. The ball played forward towards Johnson. Johnson's pass to Welbeck wasn't good. Pirlo takes it up for Italy. Here's Verratti. Back to Pirlo, and Pirlo just chips it to the far side. And Darmian in the England half now. Back to De Rossi. Pirlo just moves away from Sterling, makes himself available, and the pass inevitably goes his way. No one is really picking up Pirlo. Maybe that's the way Hodgson has decided to play. On the far side of the field, it's with Darmian once more. He's got Barzagli available, and it goes to the Juventus central defender. Juventus have 3 central defenders in this Italian squad. One of them in the central defence tonight, the other playing at left back. Pirlo to one of those central defenders, Chiellini shoots it into Balotelli. Balotelli just knocks it back to a colleague, does well there. And then there's a shot driven in, and Joe Hart, spills it. That wasn't clever, there was no pressure on him.
No, that ball was moving all over the place, though. It was a shot from distance, but you could tell even from our high vantage point, that moved. Luckily for Joe Hart, it didn't bounce just in front of him, but he did fumble it slightly. He has a wry smile, blows his cheeks out. That was a difficult one. And again, that's down to the heat, the humidity, that the ball sometimes flies a little bit differently.
You were saying to me earlier you didn't think it was quite as humid as you were expecting.
No, it's not. It's not as humid. It's still very, very hot. Although now it's dark, the temperature's dropped slightly.
Marchesi tried to find Balotelli, but it was quickly snuffed out that by a combination of Cahill and Johnson.
It's a little bit like a swing bowler. Obviously playing cricket, they're looking for the low cloud, of a little bit of humidity can make the ball swing. Obviously the humidity is still very, very humid compared to what we are used to. And again, those long shots will just affect the ball very, very slightly.
Well, Sirigu had a couple of problems early on with England long-range shooting. England fans, I think, outnumber the Italian supporters inside this arena. It still beggars belief for me how far they're happy to travel. It's not just a matter of going to Rio and having a sort of holiday come World Cup in Rio. They've made the 1,800-mile journey, as we did yesterday, Danny, the plane ride up to Manaus. Here's Raheem Sterling on the far side of the field. Sterling started brightly. He jinks inside one defender, then runs into another and loses the ball, and Pirlo slides the pass to the far side of the field. And Italy will counter-attack here. Only Balotelli is through the middle. The pass is aimed at Balotelli. It hits Jagielka and then loops in the air. Jagielka heads it carefully back to Joe Hart.
That's what England have to be careful of. several times in their warm-up games they've been hit when they've given the ball away, and then the opposition have been able to break. And the turnover of possession, England must concentrate. When they give the ball away in that final third, they must be in a position, a very good, sound defensive position, to stop Italy attacking them very, very quickly.
If you weren't listening to 5 Live earlier, you'll have missed it. Easily, in my view, the upset of the World Cup so far, and that takes into account Spain losing 5-1 to Holland, Uruguay 1, Costa Rica 3. And Pereira, the Uruguayan, was sent off. He will miss England's game against the South Americans in Sao Paulo. Here's Henderson breaking forward down the right side. Henderson gets there before Paletta. Henderson wide towards the right. And it goes to Welbeck. Welbeck slides the pass back to Gerrard. Gerrard a long way out. Chips it to the far side. Sterling brings it under control just outside the penalty area. Takes on the fullback. Crosses goes a great cross. And goodness gracious, that was an interesting challenge, let's say, on Welbeck on the edge of the 6-yard box, but the referee ignored it.
Brilliant from Raheem Sterling yet again. This time on the left-hand side, drove the ball across the 6-yard box. Welbeck was never really going to get there, but the two centre-backs, Barzagli and Paletta, just blocked him out of the ball again. That Italian defending that we're so used to, putting their body in the way, little shirt pulls and blockages.
To pick side, Ian Dennis.
Just to say, Alan, from that shot before at Joe Hart, I can't repeat what he said, despite being after the watershed, but I can tell you that after his expression, he was surprised at the level of how that ball deviated in the air, and that'll be a key feature of these bazookas, how they move in the air.
Goodness, it's 20 past midnight, and beyond that, back in the UK. 20 past... Oh, sorry, hold on, I'm still on Rio time.
20 past 11, Alan.
Yes, yeah, I'm still on Rio time. I'm hoping this is my only game in this region during the World Cup. Manaus is an hour behind Rio. Here's Balotelli. Balotelli shoots over the crossbar and also wide of goal. We're midway through the first half, and here's my king.
Well, after all the talk about the pitch, it's okay, isn't it, Daniel?
Yeah, pitch is absolutely fine. Allegedly it's been sprayed green, but it's not causing any problems. There's no real bobbles, and all this fear about this, intense heat and humidity has pretty much gone away. Yes, it's very, very warm. I expect pitch side now might be 25 degrees or so, maybe, but obviously it's dark now, and the humidity is very, very low.
England playing from left to right and going forward into the areas. Danny Welbeck, can he pull this ball back for Sturridge? Goes off a defender, and it'll be a corner kick over on the far side.
How lucky are Italy in that situation? Barzagli got a touch, it looped over the top as Welbeck strode into the box. Again, drove the ball across the face of goal. Barzagli sliding in towards his own goal, hit his right foot, looped up. Sturridge couldn't get there, looped past the far post and out for a corner. Lucky kick, Italy.
Corner kick to England then, over on the far side, to be whipped in by the captain, Steven Gerrard. It travelled a very long way, it almost dropped to Rooney, who bundles for possession at the far post, and it's gone behind for another England corner.
Italian defence looking very, very shaky. Brilliant ball in from Steven Gerrard, whipped in with pace. Players going in, it almost fell to Wayne Rooney at the far post. How it got through all those players, I do not know, but it's another corner.
5 Live at the World Cup in Manaus. England 0, Italy 0, 23, nearly 24 minutes gone in the first half. And England have had 3 strikes at the Italian goal in the first 10 minutes. Sirigu, the replacement for the injured Buffon. And now Leighton Baines prepares to take this left-footed corner. There are words between the referee and Sirigu and Daniel Sturridge. And now we'll have this England corner. England going forward looking pretty good, but the Italians on the counter-attack often dangerous. Here comes the England corner kick, hoisted high. Sirigu spilled it first time and then holds on to it second time. The only problem really, watching while Alan was commentating, the danger seems to be from Italy down that right-hand side. The fullback Darmian gallops forward very quickly, and there's great support from Cam Draver, who looks quite a player. And so Leighton Baines and Phil Jagielka are going to have to be really sharp this evening. 0-0 on 5 Live as the ball is played to Darmian, who's winning only his second cap. Darmian bursting forward, looks to Balotelli. Now it goes to Cam Draver. Work back into midfield, and Pirlo, who's 30 yards away from Joe Hart's goal. Still Pirlo, biding his time, looking for his clubmate Chiellini. Chiellini tackled by Johnson. And the fact that the fullbacks can go forward, De Rossi is protecting them and almost becoming at times one of 3 centre-backs for Italy.
He's also played there before as well, we must add. But it's effectively you've got Marchisio and Candreva playing behind Balotelli. 2 players sat behind them in Verratti and Pirlo, and then 1 deeper in that holding midfield role. And it's just causing 1 or 2 problems, as you said, out wide, especially on that right-hand side at the moment.
Danny Mills, Wilson, 5 Live. They do pass the ball around beautifully, the Italians, when they're in possession. And now it's Rooney back in defence, looking. That pass towards Sterling was a bit short. In came the challenge from Darmian, which takes Sterling out, and it's going to be a free kick to England back inside their own half. It's the second time the countries have met in the World Cup. The other time was, I suppose, a bit of a non-event, really, because it was for 3rd and 4th place after England suffered that semi-final defeat in 1990 in Italia 90. And it wasn't the England first team that played that night, it was Shilton's last game. Italy, all in blue, of course. De Rossi, who's approaching 100 caps for Italy.
It's always a game too many, that, isn't it, Mike? That 3rd and 4th place playoff. Nobody wants to be in that. I'm surprised up until now they don't get rid of that.
Now Verratti over on that right-hand side of the field, and there's a lot of experience in this Italian team, but there's also a lot of inexperience at international level. There are 4 players with less than 10 caps, and now here's young Verratti onto the Centurion Pirlo, the captain, and now Chiellini, who's inside the England half. It's 0-0 here in Manaus, and on a very humid evening. It's a sauna heat down there, really, for these players. Italy with Candreva, who turns and finds the ever-willing fullback Darmian. Balotelli's poised in the area, but the ball goes short. Still Candreva. England have got just about everybody back apart from Sturridge. Verratti now to De Rossi. And back again to Verratti. Candreva now takes the shot on, and it was well wide in the end. Joe Hart not forced into making any kind of a save there. That's a goal kick to England. We've played 27 minutes. It's 0-0.
Well, both goalkeepers not troubled to the excess. That one long-range shot that Joe Hart really had to keep his eye on as they moved through the air. Sterling had a decent chance of running to side netting, and then of course there was that fantastic strike from Jordan Henderson. But I think at the moment England will be fairly content with the way things are going. Maybe just want to get on the ball a little bit more. But Pirlo, as maybe not expected, hasn't really dictated the tempo of the play. Yes, he's getting on the ball from time to time, but up until now hasn't done anything of real note.
Looked at him a couple of times when Alan was commentating Pirlo, and he gives the defender sometimes the eye. He looks one way and then passes the other way. So he's a fantastic player. And now England with Sterling in this role. Interestingly, Roy Hodgson brought Sterling on and played him in that role in that final game in London against Peru, so he's obviously thinking ahead to tonight. Now it's Welbeck into Sterling. Sterling up against the defender Paletta. Ball just wouldn't come down for Danny Welbeck, but Sterling's kept it in. Little jinking run. There's always a second defender there, though. He goes past the first one, and then of course the Italians, who are masters at defending, manage to get the cover when it's required. Johnson with an England throw, halfway inside the Italy half, down this near side, the right. England 0, Italy 0 in this opening game in the World Cup, which we've looked forward to for such a long time. Johnson, he'll lose that. Chiellini, who's showing his great ability to play through the back four, playing at left back tonight. And now Barzagli over to Darmian, who's found space once more down that right-hand side. It's gone into midfield, and Verratti. England's Gerrard just closing Verratti down. Pirlo just swished it on to Marchisio. Marchisio into Mario Balotelli. Johnson will turn this ball back, though, to Joe Hart. And it's just dropped a gear or two in the last 5 minutes. Maybe the player's starting to feel the heat down there. It's Daniel Sturridge winning a throw-in off Claudio Marchisio. But unlike the game when they last met in the tournament, which was pretty one-sided in terms of possession, England are giving as good as they're getting here, Danny.
England are keeping the ball much better. They're not playing too many long balls, which makes it very, very awkward. As you mentioned, we know how good the Italian defenders are. Well drilled, but also individually, exceptional. They never let the man go past them. No, I've been pleased with England up till now. I don't think there's no real concern this game, and at the moment there's no reason why they shouldn't go on and maybe win the game.
No, you said something really interesting early on, and it's that concentration at this level. Every single second you have to concentrate.
And that's where the heat and the tiredness will come in. You know, as you get towards the end of the game, the first thing that goes is concentration. And with the likes of Pirlo, it just takes one pass, that little scooped, flippy, right-footed pass that it just bends over the top of the defenders. That's what England have got to watch out for.
Gerrard skimmed the ball forward. The ball ricochets off Paletta. England haven't hit too many long balls forward, and now they go forward again with Henderson. Sterling trying to control it up against Chiellini, who just brushes him aside. Chiellini puts his foot on the ball by the touchline. Sterling is trying to deny him, and then the referee has penalised Sterling and given the Italians a free kick. Back to Ian Dennis, who's down watching pitch side.
Yes, behind the goal away to your left, Mike. Just a few moments ago, Baines, Jagielka and Rooney were in a discussion because I think Baines is wary of being isolated. Playing a narrow back four, he is tucking in, but when Candreva looks to come forward and play in Darmian from full-back, Baines needs more support on England's left-hand side.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think we've picked that out from here, really. This seems to be one of the biggest sources of danger for England when the ball is right, but now it's left with Marchisio. England 0, Italy 0 in the World Cup on 5 Live. Earlier, that incredible result, Costa Rica, Uruguay, Costa Rica winning 3-1. That's a long ball through to Balotelli, which his former City teammate Hart has. And now Gerrard, who's got the De Rossi role in the England team, finds Baines over on the left-hand side. He hasn't been able to get forward very much so far, Leighton Baines. Rooney playing in this wide position, brings the ball in field. It's a little bit slow now from England. They just dropped the tempo a little bit. Rooney wants the free kick as the defender went climbing all over him. De Rossi, who's quite a volatile character, and England do have the free kick. By the way, 4 of these Italians experienced World Cup victory in 2006. Great experience. De Rossi, Chiellini, Barzagli and Pirlo. No Buffon tonight. He's had his 5th World Cup. He's watching on. Sirigu's had a good start though in goal away to our right. But now here's this England free kick. It's a long way out from Steven Gerrard, but this ball is moving around. Gerrard's kick, and in the end it's really disappointing because it just bounces tamely up at goalkeeper Sirigu and nobody can get on the end of that.
Seems to be a little bit of miscommunication about where Steven Gerrard was going to put the ball, and bounced harmlessly through to the goalkeeper there. But that right-hand side is a little bit of a problem. Chiellini, centre-back by trade, naturally doesn't really want to get forward, or not with any great pace, but it's Darmian on that right-hand side and Candreva that are starting to cause 1 or 2 problems for Leighton Baines.
England 0, Italy 0. Verratti now for Italy, finding De Rossi, who's venturing forward. He hasn't done that very much so far. Verratti now moves the ball onto Pirlo. Pirlo's on the edge of the England area. England are trying to make it tight. Finds De Rossi, that fullback. Darmian's made the run into the area once more. He wasn't picked up. Looks for Balotelli. Balotelli's head down across the face. And there's the danger. De Rossi waited for Darmian to make his move down the far side, and it almost cost England that. That really does need to be sorted out. And I'm not surprised Jagielka and Baines have been talking to each other.
Huge escape for Italy. Balotelli should have done better with that header, but again it was that ball out to the right-hand side. England a little bit exposed out there. Wayne Rooney, caught between 2 stools at times. Got caught in no man's land. That ball crossed into the box. Balotelli didn't quite get enough on the header, and England breathe a huge sigh of relief. But as the ball gets switched again to Darmian,
he doesn't need any excuse at all to get forward. Darmian, only his 2nd cap, but he really has settled down well here, and what a menace he's proving down that right-hand side. Now Marchisio, and again Darmian is available, but Marchisio slides the ball into the area, and that's a corner kick off Leighton Baines for Italy. And of course they are pretty good at set pieces, the Italians.
Roy Hodgson, Mike. Roy Hodgson is going to have to address this at half-time. Candreva and Darmian are getting in far too often down that right-hand side with time and space in the final third, and sooner or later, if England aren't careful, they may pay.
Well, Chiellini and Barzagli have gone forward for the corner. It's a short corner, though, taken to Verratti, who tucks it back to Pirlo, lets it run on to Marchisio. Marchisio strikes! Italy score! Marchisio was a well-worked training ground routine. The short corner, Pirlo to Marchisio. Marchisio leaves Joe Hart helpless, and Italy lead 1-0.
Devastating for England. A fantastic strike from Marchisio. I have to say that. A well-worked corner, a great strike. England now got to bounce back.
Well, what was I saying about them being pretty good at set pieces? Down to Ian Dennis, pitch side.
Joe Hart, with his screwed-up face, has just kicked the turf in anger. Not very happy as he just stands and looks on with his hands on hips. And at this opportunity as well, the England players are actually taking the advantage of the stoppage in play after conceding that goal to take on some liquid refreshment. So bottles of water are being thrown to them from the dugout. And also I should say as well that there is a photographer just by the side of me who's actually requiring some medical assistance. He's struggling with the heat, so it might be a little bit fresher up in the commentary box, but certainly pitch side it is stifling, and England now in the heat are going to have to do it the hard way to come from behind.
Thank you, Ian. Don't forget, by the way, you can follow Five Live's commentary on TV. If you flick the red button, we're there for you. But, well, Pirlo and Marchisio, of course, have a great understanding playing together in midfield for Juventus. They've probably done that quite a few times together. But nevertheless, it still took a devastating finish from Marchisio, and it left Joe Hart absolutely helpless. Now, can England respond? Here goes Daniel Sturridge down this near side. So many times in recent tournaments, England go in front, even though they don't necessarily win their opening games. They normally score first. It's a long time since England conceded the first goal in a tournament. In fact, I think it might have even been 1988, that European Championship, when Ray Houghton scored for the Republic of Ireland. Don't remember them being behind since then in an opening game, and now it's all to do, Danny.
Well, it is. It was a very well-worked set-piece corner routine, short corner, then played into Pirlo, had no intention of touching the ball, left it to Marchisio and shot like an absolute arrow into the corner. Joe Hart, no real chance with that. But I have to say, it's these problems down England's left-hand side.
And Candraver had it, and this time didn't release Darmian. He was available down the right-hand side. There wouldn't have been anyone from England there to cut it out. Well, the Italians have had a really poor build-up to the World Cup, but now England go forward, and Rooney's onside. Ball played into Sturridge! It's an equaliser for England! Great break down the left-hand side. Rooney delivered. Sturridge was there. Steven Gerrard believes he can light up this World Cup. He scored. It's 1-1.
The perfect response from Daniel Sturridge. Great break from Wayne Rooney down the left-hand side. A brilliant cross in. Just put the ball into space, and Daniel Sturridge gambling, getting there at the back post. Not an easy finish, bounced up in front of him, but right foot into the back of the net. What is that, 2 minutes that Italy led for? Fantastic. But what a ball in from Wayne Rooney. Bent to the far post with his right foot, and a superb finish from Daniel Sturridge.
And the players leave the field for a few drinks. Daniel Sturridge gets a slap on the hand from Frank Lampard. And the thing about Sturridge, we've mentioned it before, Danny, I mean, he missed goals, didn't he, in that last game against Honduras, but he never gets his head down, he just moves on to the next one.
Well, it came to him on the half volley on the right-hand side, which is very, very awkward. There's something down on the bench. Something serious quite happened. The stretch is out already, but can't quite see what's happening from our TV monitors or who it is. But somebody looks in a bad way.
At the moment, it's impossible. Is it an England player or is it an Italian player? The cameras have moved away now from that, and it's an England player.
I can see a white sock, but it's so crowded down there that we can't really see anything else. And whether that happened in the celebrations for the goal, I'm not quite sure, but we're still looking to see what exactly happened. We're just seeing replays of the goal. Brilliant from Wayne Rooney on the counter-attack. A half volley from Daniel Sturridge. Did very, very well. Easily that can bounce up, hit your shin, go over the crossbar. Kept his eye on it, and the perfect response.
I'm just looking to see if it's an England player on the field who's been injured, but I'm just looking to... They all seem to be out there, so maybe it's one of the substitutes down there and a leg brace has been applied apparently, and we still can't see who it is because all the trainers and the doctors are covering the player. Let's get a verdict on that goal from Chris Waddle, who's watching with us tonight. Chris.
Yeah, mate, it's a wonderful goal. Wayne Rooney's not playing wide enough when we lose the ball, but it works sometimes. The fullback's gone on. Wayne Rooney hasn't gone with him, which he hasn't on a lot of occasions tonight. But it paid off his time. He found the space. Wonderful ball, wonderful finish.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris. And the rumours are that it's the physio Gary Lewin. It is Gary Lewin who's been carried off on a stretcher. He's the man, of course, who normally comes on the field to treat players. One of the most popular people in the camp. I mean, you'll know him, Danny.
Well, but that's awful for Gary Lewin. Obviously, physio here. Been around the England setup for such a long time, into so many tournaments, so experienced about getting the players fit. But he's obviously done himself some serious damage as he gets carried off on a stretcher.
Well, we have no idea how it happened, whether he was celebrating and twisted and fell, or whether people ran into him. But anyway, he's been carried off on a stretcher, and England are now at 1-1 here, and it's a really entertaining game. And Raheem Sterling now played a very difficult ball to Welbeck on the edge of the area. This is always the danger now for England, as the opposition counter-attack, and it's Balotelli down this left-hand side, just holding the ball sensibly, because nobody really in a position to receive from him. England won, Italy won. I think 5 minutes to go in the first half.
I think that equaliser, Mike, just goes to show that the Italian back four doesn't have a great deal of pace. If Rooney can get to run at them, Sterling, Sturridge, England have a great opportunity to go on.
But there are concerns. Oh, he's offside, Candreva. But there are concerns every time Italy build quickly down that right-hand side. They seem to be outnumbering Baines at times, Candreva and Darmian, the fullback. But of course, Darmian, we've been congratulating him going forward, but it was in his area where Rooney crossed to lay on the equaliser for Sturridge. So Italy having now to get back behind the ball. Rooney, 1-1. Marchisio for Italy. They led for a couple of minutes, and then Sturridge equalised. All played well by Rooney into Henderson. He's got a bit of space. Henderson drove the ball, but straight at Verratti. Henderson now looked to try and find Johnson down this near side. Italians haven't dealt with this yet. Henderson almost sneaked in there against Verratti, and England need to apply the pressure even more so, and they do. They steal the ball off Chiellini. It was Welbeck. Back again to the goal scorer, Sturridge. England now with Sturridge working the ball back into his own half, and Jagielka moves it on to Steven Gerrard. Baines now, far side the left. 5 live, the World Cup from Brazil. 3.5 minutes to go in the first half. Sterling now moving through midfield. Immediately the blue shirts surrounding him. Sterling still. Sterling now finding Baines. No England player in the area yet. The ball is chipped in towards Rooney. And out comes the man in orange, Sirigu, the goalkeeper. And the danger on again potentially now as Pirlo finds the Italian goalscorer Marchisio. Now Balotelli taking up some good positions. He's now on this left-hand side. Balotelli, no great pace about the Italians here, just biding their time as ever, trying to recover from conceding the goal. And remember, I did say after they'd scored the goal, they haven't had a great build-up to this World Cup, but this is, of course, where it really counts. And here they go again. And again, they're standing off Candreva down the right-hand side. Ball in, and that's away by England, by Jagielka. Rooney's now in the left-back position. They really are going to have to sort that out, and I'm sure Gary Neville, who's part of the coaching staff, will want to talk about that during half-time, because that is a real cause for concern down that Italian right-hand side. Rooney. Still inside his own half. Rooney tries a floater to this near side. It could turn out to be a beautiful ball. Oh, Sturridge let it bounce. Oh, and that was a mistake because it's gone out of play.
The problem that England have down that left-hand side is Candreva is the most furthest player forward for Italy, almost playing an inside right. Wayne Rooney's not quite sure, whether to drop deep or whether to stay in his hole. Leighton Baines doesn't want to go in tight, and of course you've got Darmian overlapping down that right-hand side, and that means Leighton Baines is outnumbered. Wayne Rooney, good going forward, exceptional cross with his left foot, but they've got to sort out that left-hand side, because at the moment England are becoming exposed far too often.
It's a sort of area where they might require a James Milner, possibly, although that would of course nullify their attacking ability as well. But anyway, it's 1-1 now, moving towards half-time. Marchisio following a short corner for Italy. England with an equaliser from Sturridge. Now the cross will come in from the right-hand side, and Joe Hart is there. Almost collides with Gary Cahill, and Hart takes the ball and rolls the ball out of the area. Sterling has to be careful not to lose this now. Sterling to Rooney, playing in this deep position. Rooney across the field for Glenn Johnson. England predominantly keeping it short on the ground, but just at times hitting these long passes, and then as they strike that long ball forward, it's innocuous and it's straight through to Sirigu. So one thing that you must never do against an Italian side, just concede possession so cheaply. Closing in on half-time here. Gary Lewin, though, the England physio, has been carried from the stadium on a stretcher after it seems, the goal celebrations following Sturridge's equaliser. Here they go again down that right-hand side. More danger for England as Darmian goes forward and strikes it in the end over the bar, but they have to sort this out. This is a real problem.
Leighton Baines is getting isolated. That time Darmian cut inside. I think, again, it was Candreva that made an overlapping run. Leighton Baines getting caught 2-on-1, not quite sure whether to stick or twist. Had that been a better shot, Joe Hart might have been in trouble, but it's difficult for Leighton Baines at the moment because he's been exposed. He needs more help on that left-hand side, and Roy Hodgson is definitely going to have to do something tactically about that for the second half.
Well, we can see it from here. I'm sure they can see it from down there. If England want to get something from this game, that's an area that they have to sort out during half-time. The ball is thrown out to the defender Paletta, who's only winning his third cap, onto the vastly experienced Chiellini. Fourth official is coming forward now to indicate the added time, and it has very much the end of a first half look about it at the moment. The sides may be just looking forward now to getting into the cool of the dressing room. The ball is again endlessly though down that right hand side. This time though Darmian doesn't cut forward. He plays it into midfield, and Verratti inside the centre circle. Still Verratti, England just backing off. Verratti now, 2 minutes of added time I think we're going to have here. Still Italy building. De Rossi over to the right hand side. Now it's Candreva into De Rossi once more. De Rossi's short pass into Pirlo, back again to De Rossi. Now Marchisio's ball towards Balotelli and thumped away by England. It mustn't lose the ball here inside their own half, and it's played by Henderson, and England are getting just stuck here a little bit. Now it's Johnson finding Welbeck near side the England right. Back again to Johnson. England just need to get through to half time here now, and some encouraging words I'm sure from Roy Hodgson, but also he's going to have a problem to sort out at half-time. Leighton Baines again over on the left-hand side. No Ashley Cole, of course, in this tournament. And Baines has had quite a World Cup baptism here against Italy down the right-hand side. They do seem to be targeting him as well. Gerrard now hits the ball across. It doesn't reach Welbeck. Marchisio cuts it out. Pirlo switches it back. So we're in added time, about 50 seconds to go to the half-time whistle. England 1, Italy 1 on 5 Live. Verratti onto Pirlo. Pirlo looking to release Balotelli in the area. Out comes Joe Hart. He doesn't get there. Balotelli from the angle. Balotelli tries to chip Joe Hart. Headed away by England, by Jagielka. Almost on half-time, Italy score.
First time that Balotelli's really been in the game. Again, it was that little slide rule ball down the side from Andrea Pirlo. Joe Hart did well. Came out, forced Balotelli away, and then a clever little dink over the top. Nearly went in, but Jagielka off the line.
It's another short corner, and they've found Pirlo on the edge of the area. Verratti now, another maybe chance for Marchisio. Marchisio chips into the area. There's danger here. The shot is driven in against the post by Candreva. England need the half-time whistle. We're playing added time at the end of the first half. England are hanging on here at the end of the first half, and then there's some argy-bargy on the edge of the area, and the referee may well now decide to blow for half-time rather than trying to sort that out. So what an eventful first half. England 1, Italy 1, down to Ian Dennis pitchside.
Well, I can just see Joe Hart and Mario Balotelli have just playfully barged into each other, and then the respective arms go around each other's shoulders, and a little handshake as well from the two former Manchester City colleagues. England then were like boxers on the ropes towards the latter stages of that first half, and Phil Jagielka looked tired. His white shirt drenched, so tight with sweat that he was mentally alert to get back to head that ball off the line. And just one other point, as I was behind that goal, this is the end where England are going to be attacking in the second half, and the pitch is cutting up, and there are two areas, one just in front of the base of the left-hand post and another one on the left-hand side. And if you can imagine a birthday cake and how you peel off the marzipan, that is how the pitch is starting to lift in those two areas. Mark Pugac.
Thank you, Ian. Just spotted it with Chris Waddle and myself that Steven Gerrard, who I think would...
No changes at the interval for either side. England's goalkeeper is Hart. The defence is Johnson, Cahill, Jagielka and Baines. Then Gerrard and Henderson. Then Welbeck, Sterling and Rooney. And finally Sturridge as we get the second half underway.
Sorry, Alan, just a quick change for England. Not in personnel, but Wayne Rooney has gone to the right-hand side.
Welbeck to the left.
Yeah, I think obviously that's to try and deal with that threat. Welbeck, far more disciplined. Leighton Baines was getting outnumbered 2 for 1 down this side. And of course, now that is obviously what Roy Hodgson very, very cleverly has done tactically to address the situation.
Italy's goalkeeper is Sirigu. Their defence from right to left is Darmian, Barzagli, Paletta and Chiellini. Then we've got Pirlo, De Rossi and Verratti. And finally Candreva, on the right, Marchisio on the left, and Balotelli through the middle. Marchisio put Italy in front. 2 minutes later, Sturridge equalised for England, and here is Daniel Sturridge at the start of this second half. England all in white, attacking the end to our left, behind which there's a huge number of England fans, and they've got a throw in on this near side of the field there left. Baines to take it. I'm sure you're right. I'm sure Welbeck will be tracking back and helping out Leighton Baines much more than Wayne Rooney seemed to be preferred to do. Another throw-in is the result, as a challenge came in on Sturridge. Baines to take it, left over the edge of the Italian penalty area. Goes to Welbeck. Rooney's inside the box, so too is Sturridge. Here's Sterling. Sterling moves away from Verratti. Beats another Italian player. Feeds the ball to Welbeck. Now it's with Baines. Into Sterling again, just to the left of the penalty area, but his tackle loses it, and it's taken clear by Italy. By Candreva, up towards the halfway line, towards Balotelli. He's tackled by Jagielka, and Jagielka, the Everton defender, plays it all the way back to Joe Hart. I'm sure you were right, Hart had no chance with the shot from Marchisio, but it went past 4 England defenders, Danny. I mean, there were 5 in all.
Yeah, I think Wayne Rooney was actually the last man. Almost thought about putting his foot out. You know, it's very, very difficult in that situation. You know, you throw your foot out, you can't reach it properly. You know, you have the issue of do you deflect it into the goal. It was a great strike, well worked set piece. England didn't deal with it. They left Marchisio unmarked on the edge of the box, and he fired it directly into the corner. But a great response after that.
Balotelli was well offside. England free kick is the result, and it's played to Johnson. On to the far side, and the England goal scorer, Daniel Sturridge. Out off for defender, Paletta, and a throw to England just beyond the halfway line. Far side of the field, that's the England right. Johnson takes it to Wayne Rooney. Back to Johnson. Still inside the Italian half, but it's played back into the England half now to Gary Cahill. Cahill sweeps it to Jagielka. Jagielka still 15 yards short of the halfway line. Hurries it to his club colleague Baines. Back to Jagielka. Jagielka looks inside, sees Cahill available. Henderson's available too. And the ball goes to the Liverpool player. And on to another Liverpool player. 5 of them in Roy Hodgson's team. And here's Sturridge, another Liverpool player. Sturridge just left-footed, pushed away by the goalkeeper. Seemed to get down quite late. Sirigu. England still have the ball. Rooney down the right side has won a corner.
Another good move from England. Daniel Sturridge, a little bit of individual brilliance. Took 3 Italian defenders out of the game. Not quite sure he caught it as well as he wanted to. Sirigu almost went down in instalments. It took him so long to get down. But again, positivity from England, which is great to see.
Now, from the England right side, Leighton Baines will deliver this corner left-footed. 3 England players grouped around the Italian goalkeeper. Baines wants to put it in his direction. There it goes. Sirigu came, didn't make any attempt to catch the ball. It was a glancing header wide. It must have gone for an England player, and it's behind for a goal kick to Italy. 4 minutes gone in the second half. England 1, Italy 1. You're listening to your World Cup station. Brazil 2014, 5 Live.
England could do a little bit better with their set pieces. They haven't been great. There was just that one Steven Gerrard corner that was whipped in and made its way through to Wayne Rooney at the far post. But apart from that, I think set piece from England have been a little bit wasted at times.
The goal kick was taken short by Italy. Pirlo now to Verratti, back to Pirlo. He just sort of strolls around the game. Looks half-paced, Pirlo, but it's his brain that does all the quick thinking. Now it's with Damian, the right fullback, up inside the England half. On it goes now to Candreva. Candreva onto his left foot. Play across the deep. Balotelli heads it in. Simple enough goal for Italy. Balotelli relatively free on the edge of the 6-yard box. Downward header. Joe Hart no chance. And Italy are back in front. England 1, Italy 2.
The moment Candreva cut inside, back onto his left foot, you could see that goal coming. Balotelli had peeled off at the far post. Again, England, masters of their own downfall, not defending properly. Leighton Baines exposed, 2-on-1. Then he dives in, goes for the cross, doesn't get there. And at Balotelli, he pulls off Jagielka at the far post. No, sorry, it's Cahill that he pulls away from at the far post. And a good downward header. But it's this left-hand side. Leighton Baines outnumbered in the first place. There's nothing he can do about that. It's very, very difficult. But then he dives into the cross. Candreva cuts back, on his left, dinks the ball to the far post. Gary Cahill gets caught underneath it. Balotelli, couple of steps off him, and a very, very good header. Again, Joe Hart, no chance with that one. And England again have it all to do. But it's just this left-hand side that constantly causes England
problems. Good work by
problems.
Sturridge up to the edge of the penalty, still running Daniel Sturridge, but he can't be the third defender. And it's clattered clear by Paletta up towards the halfway line. So England have to come from behind again to get something from this game. Remember earlier, Costa Rica beat Uruguay by 3-1. Well, Gerrard seemed to run into the referee there, but the ball squirts away to England's possession. It's with Sturridge into Welbeck, into the penalty area. Oh, an elaborate dive by Welbeck. Sorry, that is not a penalty kick, it's an embarrassment. Referee from Holland, Bjorn Kuipers, rightly ignores it.
Might be a touch fortunate not to pick up a yellow card for that. He did throw himself again rather theatrically.
De Rossi for Italy. To the near side, and Candreva. Wasn't that a great cross though, Candreva?
It was a brilliant cross, but it should never have got there. England have tried to address the situation by putting Welbeck on the left-hand side. It's clearly a problem. All first half it was a problem, and then Leighton Baines, Candreva shaped with his right foot to put the cross in. Leighton Baines dived in, jumped in the air. That allowed Candreva to cut back inside him and just dink the ball to the far post. A poor goal from England's point of view.
Verratti on the halfway line to Darmian, the right back, who loves to attack. Forward to the score of the latest goal for Italy, Balotelli, but he moved just a fraction offside. The assistance flag was up very quickly, and it's a free kick to England. Well, obviously we're hoping for an England reply, but if England lose this game and Uruguay have lost, it's an awful lot at stake in Sao Paulo when the two meet.
Well, it's going to be a huge game. I think the fact that Uruguay have lost makes it a harder game anyhow. They all have to come out and play. They're very, very likely to throw Luis Suarez into the mix, fit or not. I think they will have to gamble, and of course if the result stays the same, England also.
Henderson sweeps the ball towards the near side to Jagielka, who moves inside the Italian half. England all in white, Italy all in blue. Now Gerrard, good ball forward. Sturridge didn't control it, and Italy have possession again, and Pirlo doesn't squander possession. Plays it back to Barzagli, and on from De Rossi. Italy clearly have grown in stature since their second goal. Pirlo into Verratti, just over the halfway line. Tackled and beaten by Gerrard. Ball squirts through now to Rooney. Rooney running forward towards the penalty area. Forced to run wide. Shoots across the face of goal, but it was a yard wide of the far post, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Best from Wayne Rooney. Shot from distance. Didn't quite catch it cleanly. Came across it a bit too much. In the end, bobbled 3 or 4 yards wide. But England have got to do something about this left-hand side. They struggled all first half, conceded a goal from it, and still it's causing problems.
Italy keep probing the England left flank. Welbeck should be better than Rooney in helping protect Leighton Baines, but so far that's not the case in the opening 9 minutes of the second half. You're listening to 5 Live on the BBC. England trail Italy 2-1. Here's Sterling from Gerrard's pass on to Sturridge. Johnson's available on the far side. Sturridge picks him out. Johnson with room. Crosses first time in towards the 6-yard box, but he'll find a blue shirt and it's clear. Only as far as Gerrard, who chests it down to Baines. Gerrard once more. And Gerrard hits a crossfield ball to Glenn Johnson on the far side. Accurately played. Good control by Glenn Johnson. Up towards the edge of the penalty area. Into Sterling. Sterling's shot was weak anyway. Hit a defender who plays it back to Sirigu, and the goalkeeper hits it out of play on the far side of the field for a throw into England.
England have got to try and get their fullbacks further forward. They've got to get some width and cause the Italians some problems. The Italian defence very, very well drilled. When players are running through the middle, a little bit of brilliance from Rooney or Sturridge is fine, but they're swarmed round by 3, 4, 5 Italian defenders at time. England have got to spread the game, get the ball wider, and they'll only do that by getting their fullbacks further up the pitch.
Throw-in goes towards Sterling, and he puts pressure on Chiellini, who heads it behind for an England corner. England equalised within 2 minutes of Italy taking the lead in the first half. It's 5 minutes since Balotelli made it 2-1 for Italy. This time Baines doesn't take the corner. It's Steven Gerrard from the right, and Gary Cahill's on the far post. Gerrard waits, and now he delivers, swinging it in deep, looking for Wayne Rooney. Skims off the head of De Rossi. England throws down in the penalty area. It's Gary Cahill. Ball still in play. Cahill's back on his feet, and here's Rooney. And Rooney crossed that ball accurately, as it turned out, to Gerrard. Gerrard through. Gerrard tackled well and is behind for a goal kick.
Steven Gerrard went down in hope, I think, rather than expectation. As the challenge came in from Paletta, it just stood his ground, got his body in the way, didn't really make a challenge, not enough in it for a penalty. Nobody really appealed for it, but that's what England have got to do. They've got to get into that box, play those little balls down the sides and go from there.
Jordan Henderson complaining to the Dutch referee, but it won't change his mind, and we're going to have a change for Italy. Motta will come on, and who's that? Verratti. Now Verratti was injured leading up to the tournament. I wonder if that's a recurrence of his injury. Motta is on to Verratti. Let's go pitch side to Ian Dennis.
Just say, Alan, quickly that the referee had an excellent view of that coming together with Steven Gerrard, and also just watch for Raheem Sterling, because when that corner was taken, he was feeling at the back of the hamstrings on both his right and left leg.
That's a worry. Not least the scoreline is a worry. England 1, Italy 2. 12 minutes gone in the second half at 5 live. Now Motta just drops alongside Pirlo in the midfield where Verratti had been playing. Motta back now to De Rossi, and De Rossi chips it arrogantly towards the far side. I say arrogantly, what I mean is he chipped it really well, knew exactly what he was doing. Fine Chiellini, back to Pirlo. Pirlo followed to Balotelli once again. Balotelli is offside, and it's a free kick to England.
England's got to settle themselves down now, see what the next 5 or 6 minutes brings. If they can stop Italy down this, or our left-hand side, Italy's right-hand side, and then really they've got to try and attack a little bit more with a little bit more purpose, because England had some half chances, but Sirigu pretty much untroubled unless it's been long-distance shots.
Rooney fouls, Chiellini on the far side of the field, no significant harm done. I was just thinking, Danny, if there was going to be an England change, and it appears that Ross Barkley will be coming on. Now, interesting who he takes off. I mean, if Sterling's got a problem, it'll be Sterling. Anyway, Italy on the attack. Darmian down the right side. The pass wasn't accurate. Baines gets there, and Baines clears for England. High towards Welbeck. Welbeck takes it in the chest but loses possession. Not before he was fouled there. Free kick to England. Cesare Prandelli. He's been obviously in the technical area quite a lot tonight. I just haven't seen Roy Hodgson. Maybe he's been out there and I haven't noticed it. From the free kick, Sterling down the left side, had his shirt down, still gets the cross in. Sturridge can't control it, and it's behind for a goal kick. Barkley's coming on, but who for?
Not quite sure. Rooney possibly, but you said it, if Sterling has got a little bit of an injury, maybe taking him off. I think Roy Hodgson has been very, very positive so far. I think you can't blame Roy Hodgson for really anything that's gone wrong. Been caught out down this left-hand side. He tried to address it with Danny Welbeck. And that's down to players. Players have to be responsible. Once they've been given instructions, they have to do as they're told, and they haven't done that, and that's why they find themselves 2-1 down.
I mean, look at both Italian fullbacks. They're pushing forward, aren't they? They're really pressing on the England defence, like Chiellini is doing now from Pirlo's pass, and it's back to Pirlo on the halfway line, left of the centre circle, onto Motta, the substitute. Pirlo again. It's the Italian fans that you're hearing singing at the moment inside the Arena Amazonia. Not 40,000 in there tonight. Lots of empty seats, but still a wonderful spectacle. Darmian down the right side, more or less given up defending, to Motta. Motta now from Pirlo's pass, and now the cross in towards the near post. Goodness gracious, Balotelli almost got there, but it's safely through to Joe Hart.
Any sort of touch from Balotelli, that was in the back of the net. Italy again down this right-hand, or their right-hand side, the left-hand side. Just interesting, Sterling's now come out to this left-hand side. I wonder if they're going to use that and leave him on and keep the pace down this left to try and push Verratti back.
Henderson to Rooney, who's mainly down the right side during this second half. Into Henderson again. Rooney once more. Good ball into Sturridge. 30 yards from goal. Sturridge moves forward towards the D of the Italian penalty. Shoots! Not that far wide.
Just scooped it slightly. Had the right idea. Went to go back across himself.
It's Welbeck who's coming off.
Well, that'll be interesting to see now who comes out to this left-hand side. I think it might be Sterling. Sterling comes to this left-hand side, he will try and push the fullback Darmian back, because that's where the problems are coming from. Candreva being very, very clever, playing in a little pocket in between, or just in front of Leighton Baines, or he doesn't want to come and mark him. And then, of course, you've got the overlapping fullback. Barkley is good. Looks like he's going to
be in the centre.
Yeah, the number 10 role. Sterling out on the left-hand side. So, again, you have to say, positive changes from Roy Hodgson. He's doing everything he possibly can.
England trail 2-1. Ian Genesis, pitch side.
Yes, Alan, just quickly, I thought Gary Neville was trying to get Wayne Rooney to come over towards that side, but as it is, it's now Sterling who's playing on the England left. But I thought the way that Gary Neville was trying to gesture to Wayne Rooney, that they wanted him to go back out on that left-hand side.
Not so at the moment. But it's forward to Sturridge, the England goal scorer. He's down the right for England. Sturridge checks one way, then the other. Beats the defender for the third time. Still hasn't got the cross in. Slips the pass back to Henderson. 30 yards from goal. Cross into the penalty area towards Wayne Rooney. Headed clear by the Italian defence. Baines picks it up. Into Rooney, relatively unmarked. Rooney shoots wide. Oh dear, what a chance.
Great opportunity for Wayne Rooney. Roy Hodgson, we just seen on a monitor, throws his hands to his head. Wayne Rooney definitely onside. Italy trying to push up but got it wrong. He did the keeper with the eyes. Everyone thought he was going to try and bend it in the far post. Cut the ball back on himself towards the near and missed by about a foot. On target, and that was in because the goalkeeper had gone the opposite way.
Wayne Rooney yet to score in a World Cup finals. England 1, Italy 2 here in Manas. We've already played 17 minutes of the second half. The temperature actually is fine considering the horrific forecast that we have. Henderson, that's such an obvious ball to Sturridge. It was easily intercepted, and here's Motta in the centre circle. De Pirlo, back to De Rossi. Pirlo again. It looked as if De Rossi had put him in trouble. Pirlo just find a little urgency, kept the ball for Italy. Motta to Marchesio, scorer of the first Italian goal. Onto the right side and Darmian. Back once more to Candreva. Candreva up towards the right of the penalty area, the England penalty area. Checks onto his left foot. Won't cross, but he dinks it back to De Rossi. That's a good pass. De Rossi, 30 yards out. Chips it into the penalty area. Brought down under control. The shot by Darmian. Blocked by the defender. And Rooney can clear. And England can counter-attack here. Henderson surges forward into the centre circle. Slips the ball to Barkley down the left. Sterling is inside the penalty area, so too is Henderson. Barkley moves inside the box. Barkley shoots, simple save for the goalkeeper. Made a bit of a hash of it though. Only pushes it wide. Sterling is there. Sterling in the penalty area again. Right side, trying to create room for the cross for Sturridge. Hits the defender and it's out for an England throw.
Well, at one end we have Italy with this tactic they are definitely employing, which is to try and dink balls over top of the England defence for players running through. I think Sterling has gone down on the far side with cramp by the looks of it. It's Marchisio and Chiellini actually helping him out. Very, very sportive, the Italians. Not like them, but at the other end, Barkley, just as he cut in from the left-hand side, I think he just caught the ground a little bit, saw a lot of sand flick up as he shot, not quite clean, but now I think it's going to be experienced Italian defence against a youthful, enterprising England attack.
Sterling's receiving some treatment. Let's go pitch side, Ian Dennis.
Yeah, it was Marchisio and Chiellini who are first of all applying the treatment. It looks like cramp. They're trying to bend those toes back of those luminous orange boots of Raheem Sterling, who actually is in a lot of pain. He's actually covering up his face with his shirt. Previously, of course, he had been feeling the effects of what looked like his hamstring. Just to say as well, the England players now taking on a drinks break at this opportunity, and Ross Barkley has finally got the instruction that I'd mentioned from Gary Neville. So Wayne Rooney is playing on the left, Barkley in a central position and Sterling on the England right, and Sterling now is back on his feet. Alan.
Sterling has to leave the field of play, of course, having received treatment, but he'll be the right-sided player of the three behind Sturridge in the remaining 25 minutes of the game. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC. 20 minutes gone in the second half. England 1, Italy 2. England took the lead through Marchesio. Within 2 minutes, Sturridge had equalised, and then 5 minutes after the half-time interval, Balotelli, with a simple, unmarked header at the far post, restored Italy's advantage. Sterling is now back on the pitch. The game has resumed. And the ball is with Steven Gerrard inside the centre circle. Whip pass to the left side to Baines. Into Rooney. Barkley makes a run forward. Rooney's pass is wide though to Sterling. Accurate ball from Wayne Rooney. Sterling controls it. Back to Glenn Johnson. Johnson to Henderson. Henderson with Barkley available. Barkley static for the moment, but the pass goes to him anyway, and Barkley slips it wide to Sterling. Down the far side, England needs some pace, urgently. Sterling beats one defender. Glides past all, crosses low under the penalty area, but it's easily knocked away by Paletta behind for a corner.
England have just got to gamble a little bit more when those crosses go into the box. But at the moment, there's really only one player, one white shirt in that area. People have got to gamble, run across the face of people. You might not always get the ball yourself, but it draws the attention of the other defenders.
Baines to take the corner from the right. He'll hit it left-footed. When he's happy, he places the ball in the quadrant now. Cahill is up inside the penalty area. Gerrard is there. Here it comes from Baines, deep, and it's an easy catch for Sirigu, the Italian goalkeeper.
I'll say it again, Alan. Set piece have been poor from England. We saw them obviously at Wembley, where they did incredibly well from set pieces, got a couple of goals, but this evening delivery hasn't been good enough.
Balotelli from Pirlo's pass on the halfway line into the England half, and passes backwards to Chiellini, who exchanges passes with Paletta. Italy are happy now to slow things down.
Well, all the talk was about Pirlo, wasn't it? How he was going to control the game, and it's actually been Candreva down this right-hand side along with Darmian who've caused all the problems and Balotelli's header. Pirlo has been good, but nowhere near what we thought he would be.
It's with Paletta. Paletta sweeps it towards the near side. Darmian controls the ball down off his right thigh into De Rossi. And England, wow, I'm just wondering if the heat is getting to them a little bit now.
There's no excuse, Alan, realistically. Italy have got to deal with the same conditions. I think, it's not as hot and humid as we possibly expected. Yes, it will be energy zapping, and when you don't have the ball, it does make it doubly difficult.
We'll go back to Ian Dennis, and after that will be Mike England.
Just quickly, Jack Wilshere's going through an extended warm-up behind the goal here. So I think that we've already seen Ross Barkley. Jack Wilshere may well be the next England player to be brought on in the next few minutes.
Italy 2, England 1, and there's been quite a lot to admire about England tonight going forward, but it's the old Achilles heel, I'm afraid. It's always going to be a problem at this highest level whether they would be able to defend well enough. But they've certainly shown more enterprise going forward. They've had plenty of shots at the Italian goal, and there is still time to get something from this game. Gerrard now looking for Sterling over on the far side, and Sterling's there with the possession. Barkley makes a move. Sterling now, can he dink this one in? No, he can't get past Chiellini. And of course, one of the problems for Sterling is that he missed out on that final preparation game in the heat in Miami, so he is feeling the heat. We could be getting a yellow card here, I think. Might be the first of the game. It could be Gary Cahill. The referee's just...
I'll be interested to what our callers think. They can phone in, obviously, 0500 909 695 or text 85058. All the talk was about bring the youth, bring the young players to this tournament. I said all along, if you want to do well in this tournament, I would have brought John Terry. I would have implored to try and drag him out of retirement. Spain of the night suffered massively because of Puyol was missing. They got exposed hugely. Experience in that centre-half area is absolutely vital. I'd have brought Ashley Cole. I'm not saying Leighton Baines has played badly, but Ashley Cole's experience might have been able to deal with it slightly different. So England going to lose this. We'd love to hear what all the fans watching back home have got to say. 0500 909 693 85058 on the text.
Gary Cahill didn't get a yellow card, so England now at walking pace just inside the Italian half. The ball is left to Henderson. It's 2-1 to Italy. Italy, for the most part in the second half, have been playing on the counter-attack. It's now Johnson running towards the area, a very congested area, and nothing at the end of it from Johnson. He just ran into a blue tunnel there. And Italy looking to clear a chip from Marchisio, which Gerrard intercepts. And now Phil Jagielka inside the Italian half, onto Rooney. Rooney's got 4 Italian players with him. Rooney now releases the ball square for Jordan Henderson. Sterling available down the right-hand side. Sturridge and Rooney in the area. 2-1 to Italy on 5-line. Johnson. Given away by Johnson, but not cleared by Italy. Henderson has a chance. Gerrard, the captain's calling for it. Gerrard could see Sterling in space. Instead gives it to Johnson. But the Italians have got everybody back as England try and release Sterling in the area and win a corner kick in the end of Paletta. Corner to England now. Danny Mills has been saying that we will be going pitch side to Ian Dennis in a moment, but England have a corner.
Got to make better delivery. That's been a problem. The delivery hasn't been good enough in so far. And England, they've struggled. It's so congested in that middle area. The Italian defence, so well drilled, well organised, individually very, very good as well. England just have to move the ball maybe a little bit quicker, get it wider a little bit earlier, and maybe get some crosses in.
Well, we're going to have a couple of substitutions. I mean, I'm not sure if they'll make this before the corner. They don't normally. So we'll have this corner kick to England over on the far side, which Baines will take, and then we'll have an Italian substitution and also an England substitution. Jack Wilshere coming on in a moment. Corner to England. 2-1 they trail. And it goes headed on at the near post by Gary Cahill, and they've got another corner. So Baines is still over there preparing to take this corner. That was Cahill at the near post trying his luck. The Italians just holding on to Rooney at the moment as he stands in front of the goalkeeper. There's no space down there at all. So corner to England, taken short. Baines now, can he cut this one in from the right-hand side? He's given it to Glenn Johnson. Johnson takes a shot, and it's wide, and here's Ian Dennis, pitch side.
Yeah, Jack Wilshere on, and the third substitution, Mike, is likely to be Adam Lallana, because he's now going through that same extensive warm-up that Wilshere did behind the goal that I'm sat behind, and this is going to be a regular feature for England at the World Cup throughout this tournament. Pitch side on 5 Live, giving you all the insight as the game goes on.
Well, the Italian substitution will be made first, and they have shown them that, yes, Balotelli, who scored the second goal, is coming off, and he will be replaced by Immobile of Torino, who was the top scorer in Serie A last season with 22 goals. So he comes on. He's number 17. Jack Wilshere, number 7, preparing to come on for England and to replace Jordan Henderson, Danny.
Well, I think Balotelli, apart from his goal, hasn't done an awful lot. He's held the ball up well at times. It hasn't caused too many problems for England, but they're just putting on a striker with fresh legs. Obviously, Wilshere coming on is probably going to play a little bit more forward than Jordan Henderson, and they'll be looking to him to play those little balls through, similar, I expect, that they expect Pirlo to do. Get the ball, dink it over the defence, maybe play little slide rule balls down the sides of the defenders for those England players to run onto.
Sunday morning now back home. It's 7:30 in the evening here in the Naus. We have 17 minutes to go. It's 2-1 to Italy. They went in front through Marchisio. England equalised 2 minutes later from Sturridge, and in the second half Balotelli has headed in the second Italian goal, and in the aftermath of the England goal and the celebrations, Gary Lewin, the physiotherapist, was injured and we understand has a suspected broken ankle and was carried off on a stretcher. Now Steven Gerrard for England, on to Jack Wilshere, his first touch. Wilshere now to Baines, and Sterling I think is pulled up over on the far side. England can make one more change. That pass from Jagielka was almost under hit, and it's a very slow pace about the game now, not surprisingly, after the heat earlier on. Long one now from Gerrard, seeking out Baines down below us. Leighton Baines with a couple of Italians breathing down his neck, finds Jack Wilshere. Barkley's offering himself. In it goes from Wilshere to Barkley. Barkley now square ball to Gerrard. Sterling is wide on the right. Sturridge is moving around. The ball goes to Johnson. Now on to Raheem Sterling. Sterling faced by Marchisio, and now, but all the Italian players now are back behind the ball. It's going to be very difficult for England here to open them up. Wilshere again, on to Sterling. The Italians all in the line now, waiting for this ball to come in. It's Glenn Johnson, 30 yards out, drags the ball back to Jagielka. Now it's Rooney. England trying to go forward, but a great blue wall in the way. Baines now for England, 2-1 they trail here. Oh, Baines has given that away almost, but Jagielka's going to help him out. Jagielka thought about the back pass, plays it forward now to Rooney. England maybe need to put it down that far side now.
Steven Gerrard's got a problem in the middle of the pitch. I don't know whether he's gone over on his ankle, whether it's cramped. He's holding his left knee, ankle. He's got a problem. He hasn't moved for 30-40 seconds now, just trying to flex his knee, I think.
Ross Barkley to Glenn Johnson. Sturridge up against Chiellini. That's going to be a free kick to England. And Sturridge has been fouled on the edge of the penalty area. And Steven Gerrard now is just stretching. Whatever the problem, he had a sort of hamstring injury, I think it was, earlier in the week. Or certainly a groin injury, which prevented him from taking part in training in the early part of the week. But he won't want to leave the action here. But these are terribly draining conditions here for the players. England can only make one more change. We think Sterling is slightly handicapped as well. Now Leighton Baines, who's been given a pretty torrid night down this left-hand side defensively, can he pop up with a free kick here? And And Sturridge is limping as well towards the penalty area.
I think Sturridge just went down with cramp as well. That is down to the hot conditions. Players not able to get on enough fluid.
Well, I remember Gerrard scoring for Liverpool in the FA Cup final when he was hobbling. That dramatic 3-3 goal in Cardiff. It's Gerrard to the left of the ball and Baines to the right.
But 25 yards from goal probably favours the left footer. I think it's going to have to be something very special though, to beat Sirigu from this distance.
Gerrard is walking away, and it will be left to Everton's left back, Leighton Baines. Can he get this one over the wall and get England back into the game? They're trailing 2-1. Here goes Baines. Oh, good save by the goalkeeper, Sirigu. Turns it away for a corner kick to the far side. Baines denied by the Paris Saint-Germain goalkeeper, the deputy for Buffon, who's done very well this evening. And it's a corner to England over on the far side. Baines gets back into his defensive position now. England need a goal from somewhere. Can they knock one in now from the corner? Oh, it's a terrible, terrible corner from Rooney. It just skews away behind the goal for a goal kick to Italy. That was, I mean, you've talked about the set pieces tonight, Danny, but that was the worst of all.
Yeah, that was a little bit unfortunate. His standing foot, his left foot just gave way as he went to kick that. Nothing he can do about that. Remember David Beckham's penalty, of course, when he stepped, a big turf came up. It was similar to that. Nothing Wayne Rooney could have done that. But you're right, set pieces and delivery hasn't been good enough this evening.
England players feeling the heat, trailing 2-1 to Italy, and chasing the game is going to be difficult in these last 13 minutes on 5 Live. De Rossi, who hasn't strayed very far forward this evening. De Rossi down the centre, touched off by Marchisio. Now here's Motta, and here's the danger man down this right-hand side, Darmian. They now have Immobile, of course, in the penalty area. Balotelli having been replaced. Italy just playing it short. Motta, Brazilian-born, and playing in this Brazilian World Cup for Italy. And we're going to have another change in the moment for Italy as Jagielka slides the ball out of defence and Sterling now tries to set off against Chiellini. It goes to Sturridge plays that back to Glenn Johnson. He didn't seem to be expecting it. Johnson's now being hustled by Immobile. Johnson now down the right-hand side of the field. He needs support. There's nobody with him at all. Gets the call in the end from Wilshere, and England build from the back from Steven Gerrard, who's trying to run off this injury that we think he's picked up. England now with Baines. Another Italian change coming in just a moment. That'll be their third and final change. Wilshere just inside the Italy half, and time starting to run out. A dreadful ball to the far side towards Glenn Johnson, and England are flagging here. Back to Ian Dennis pitchside.
And as we predicted from our pitchside position, Adam Lallana is about to come on for England, and that will be England's third and final substitution. Mike.
Thank you. Parolo will also come on for Italy, and England will be really pleased to see the back of this guy. Candreva, who's had a really excellent match. He's tormented England down the right-hand side. So he's walking off, Antonio Candreva, and he'll be replaced by another relatively inexperienced player, Parolo. And England's final change then will be Adam Lallana coming on. Surely it has to be, it's not Sterling, it's Sturridge coming off. Well, we think that Sterling's got a problem, but maybe it's Sturridge now who's...
He's jogging off, but he's jogging off quite gingerly, isn't he? He did go down with sort of cramp after that foul. Maybe, he's just given way and decided that he can't carry on. But that's a blow for England, because, he is one of our hottest, brightest strikers.
Scored a great goal on the half volley to make it 1-1 in the first half, 2 minutes after England had gone behind. England do at least have impact players to bring on, like Lallana and Barkley and Wilshere. But now Parolo gets his first touch for Italy. 2-1 they lead here, and we're starting to run out of time. Just over 10 minutes to go. Italy now with Darmian down the right-hand side. Immobile's calling for it. Goes to Marchisio. Marchisio's ball in should be cleared by Jagielka. He's taking his time. Now finds Sterling over on the right-hand side. Don't forget, you'll be able to hear all the follow-ups to this game tonight on Gary Richardson's Sports Week tomorrow morning. He's got Harry Redknapp on the programme. He's got Ray Clements, the former England goalkeeper, and also at the moment the man who's going to be happiest of all, Roberto Di Matteo. So that's Sports Week with Gary Richardson on 5 Live later today. Of course, it's now Sunday. And here's Leighton Baines, wide on the England left. Rooney's now playing down the centre. He's played wide right, wide left. He's now down the centre. Barkley over to Raheem Sterling. Johnson on the overlap. Rooney's waiting in the area, and it's a terrible ball from Johnson. It's the end product once again that's missing from that right back. And just when Roy Hodgson, look at his face, he looked so downbeat in that moment. That was a good chance for England to trouble the Italian defenders.
Just seen the attendance flash up, 39,000. I think the stadium holds 42, so not a bad turnout here in the heat this evening. But again, I'd just like to, the lines are open, 0500 909 693. Would really like to hear, what England fans make of this performance. I think Roy Hodgson has done pretty much everything he possibly can. He's changed it tactically, he's been attacking, he's given the young players a chance. But what has been the difference? What do England fans think the difference between these two sides has been?
Well, for me, it's been the difference that I must admit, I think we all anticipated that when it came to the very highest level, would England be able to defend well enough without John Terry, without Ashley Cole now? And, they've been found wanting, and the Italians have put better delivery in as well. I mean, compare that Glenn Johnson delivery with some of the Italian balls from the right-hand side, but there's still time. England trailing 2-1, but they have to do something quickly here. Barkley now, with his great body strength, going forward, and then he's going to overrun that and take on too many Italians. And the Italians, how ambitious will they be now as they counter-attack? They know they lead 2-1, but Immobile now, and England are stretched. England don't have enough defenders back, but that's gone off Gary Cahill. And Joe Hart intercepts, but they were almost stranded there, Danny.
Nearly got caught on the counter-attack. England pushing forward now, taking a little bit of a chance. Interesting, you just mentioned Pirlo. It's the first time you've mentioned him in maybe 10 minutes. He's hardly touched the ball.
No, he hasn't dominated the game in the way that he did 2 years ago. But other Italians have really caught the eye this evening. Verratti was on the pitch, looked good, but really the most eye-catching combination, Darmian and Candreva, relatively unknown players down the Italian right. Now here comes Raheem Sterling, who started the game behind Sturridge. Sterling is well guarded though by Pirola. Sterling tries to dink the ball in, and again it's another disappointing cross from the right. Nothing for Rooney to feed off. Or Barkley. It's an Italian goal kick, and they're taking plenty of time of course over this. We have 8 minutes to go. And Italy, despite their desperate build-up, I mean, they didn't win a single friendly game after World Cup qualification, and they were held 1-1 by Luxembourg in their last game before the World Cup. But come the tournament, they nearly always get it right, and at the moment they're heading for 3 points to join Costa Rica, and it may be, if England lose this game, Danny, that they'll have to win both of their remaining matches to qualify.
It's to make it very, very difficult now, isn't it? Very, very tough. But as we said, the Italians very, very experienced. We know how good they are when it comes to tournament football. England now, I think it's Gary Cahill gone down on the far side with cramp.
Well, they're suffering much more than the Italians.
Well, this is what I don't understand. I've just looked at the statistics.
They've been to Florida for a week.
This is 52% possession in favour of the Italians. So not massively different. The Italian team, I believe, are based in the south, right down in the south as well, where it's much, much cooler. I think all 3 Italian games are up in the north, so they will have problems. The Italian players are older, pretty much, than the England players. And we've had 5 or 6 England players go down with cramp and are struggling. Not
don't
one.
Recall any Italian.
No, there isn't. As I said, not one Italian has gone down so far.
Italy 2, England 1 on 5 Live. In this opening game in the World Cup, all is not lost, but there are still 2 more matches to go. But England now would love an equaliser as Lallana is clattered on the edge of the area. Now then, if England have a way back here, it has to be pretty soon. We've got 6 minutes to go. This free kick, Rooney's grabbed the ball already. Baines is there as well. Gerrard might lurk as well. He's got a fantastic shot, obviously. But England so far this evening with their set pieces, in particular their corners, have been disappointing. But can they strike this one past Sirigu? Trailing 2-1 with around about 6 minutes to go. Rooney's in the centre of the 3 at the moment.
I think Gerrard might strike this. The shaving foam has gone down by the ball, which was instantly rubbed away by Steven Gerrard.
Could this be the big moment for the captain, Gerrard? He scored at 2 previous World Cups. He's certainly having a long look at this ball. Baines is there just to try and confuse the Italian defenders. There's a little bit of manhandling going on as well in the penalty area. Lallana's being grabbed around, but now Gerrard concentrates, and Gerrard takes it, it's over the bar. It just would not come down for him. He's well struck, almost 2, well struck.
Just not quite good enough. It ended up in the middle of the guy. I think had it have been low enough, I think Sirigu might have had that one covered. I'm pretty sure now the Italians are going to play for time. England starting to look tired, looking weary. Players physically absolutely exhausted. They've done well in points. They won in the first half, got back in the game very, very quickly. but they haven't been able to cope with this threat down Italy's right-hand side, England's left-hand side. That has been the problem all night long. Roy Hodgson, I believe, did his best. Changed the tactics, has changed personnel, but still it hasn't worked. And that's why I like to hear the callers 0500 999 693 to what they think to Roy Hodgson's selections.
Now here's Johnson again giving the ball away, not decisive enough. That was an obvious pass to Rooney, and it was under hit as well. Wasn't played with conviction, and it opens up England again now potentially as Immobile has it. Immobile now across to this near side, this dangerous right-hand side, but they switch the ball back to Barzagli in defence. The goal which may decide this game, scored by Mario Balotelli, whose future is very uncertain in Italy with AC Milan. Parolo now looking for one for Immobile to chase, but it's offside, and England have a free kick. And there is nothing like the pace of the game earlier on here this evening. There's two sides have run themselves into the ground, but it looks like at the moment Italy are going to collect the 3 valuable points.
Big difference is the 2 left-back areas. Leighton Baines has been exposed 2-on-1, not all of his own doing.
Good turn from Ross Barkley in the meantime. Ross Barkley still moving towards the penalty area, very congested. Rooney takes over, and it's a terrible strike in the end from Rooney. He got right underneath it and lifts the ball into the England fans. He had a great chance as well, did Rooney, in the second half, which he put wide. It's another goal kick, another opportunity away for England.
Wayne was just trying a little bit too hard, but I'll go back to that. The 2 left-backs, Chiellini has not been exposed once. Not the quickest, but nobody really has got the ball and run at him. Yes, he's a very, very good defender, playing out of position at left-back, but no one's tried to expose him at all.
Well, at least it will be cooler at the other 2 venues for the Uruguay game in Sao Paulo, the Costa Rica game in Belo Horizonte, and now England with Adam Lallana. They've made all their 3 changes. Here's another of the substitutes, Jack Wilshere. Wilshere to Gerrard. All the Italians filtering back once more to make life incredibly difficult here for England. Gerrard now to the far side of the field, and Johnson. Now, can Johnson provide something here? But it's at walking pace. Sterling is pointing. It's absolute walking pace here. This isn't going to open up the Italians. Sterling again into Barkley. It's going to take something pretty special. Ross Barkley, little extravagant flick from Lallana, didn't work at all, and England need more than that. Ball is out of play, and it's going to be an England throw, quickly taken. We've got just over 2 minutes of normal time to go as Jagielka finds Rooney. 2-1 to Italy on 5 Live, and Raheem Sterling now. Sterling with a little bit of a bustle, and still Sterling with a bustle. Sterling in the end, and that's gone off the defender. Barzagli, I think it was, for a corner kick to England over on the far side. The set pieces haven't been good, but now can the captain deliver with this corner? Steven Gerrard, far side the right.
Needs to be better. This is the moment that the players come up from the back. Cahill, Jagielka, Barkley, Rooney in there. Get this delivery right. Cause those Italian defenders all sorts of problems.
Lallana and Jagielka and Cahill are all in the 6-yard area. It's the usual scene here against the Italian defenders. A lot of shoving, and in goes the corner kick. A big leap from Rooney, but the Italians will head it out of the penalty area. Comes out to Jack Wilshere. Wilshere heads it forward. England have to scramble the ball back now through Baines. It's slightly wayward from him to Johnson over on the far side, and we just have over a minute of normal time to go. Gerrard for Johnson. The Italians are settling for this now. They've got everybody back inside their own half, and of course they are masters at denying opposition. Barkley onto Wayne Rooney, surrounded by Italian blue. Back to Baines once more. Gary Cahill is in the penalty area. Ross Barkley again now. Barkley trying to pick a pass to Sterling. Sterling up against Perla. Sterling wide and tired in the end. And that's gone wide, and in this tough group for England, I think it's the first time ever in World Cup history that we have 3 former World Cup winners in the group, Uruguay, Italy and England. And England are starting, it seems, with defeat. 30 seconds to go, and maybe a couple of minutes of added time.
Major difference for me, Mike, is England's attack. We've talked about this left-hand side. That has been a problem for England, all night long. But there's been no real plan for England, I think, when they've gone forward. They've relied on individuals to try and come up with something. There's been no real pattern of play. Whereas Italy, clearly, they've been trying to get the ball, dink it in behind, play balls down the side of people. There was a definite plan to Italy's attack. Whereas I think England have almost said, look, they're good players individually. just go and play and try and create something on your own rather than have a set plan.
There's still time. There's 5 minutes of added time. As Gerrard finds Adam Lallana. Well, ball from Lallana was really poor behind Jack Wilshere, and England give the possession away, and Pirlo with that slide rule pass finds Motta, and it's offside against Immobile over on the far side. Just before all that, there was a very, very tired clearance from Gary Cahill, who really seems to be labouring now with this cramp. Free kick to England, and it's touched off to Wilshere. And just when they broke there, the pass from Lallana wasn't good enough. And now Leighton Baines. Baines back again to Gerrard on the halfway line. 2-1 to Italy, and we're playing 5 minutes of added time here in Manaus. Now Johnson poised down the right-hand side, and again he fails to get past the first defender. Johnson finds Jack Wilshere. Wilshere scampers forward. Wilshere's going forward. He's partially tackled. Rooney picks up the loose ball. It may make its way to Sterling over on the far side. Now can Sterling measure across here to somebody? Not really. Baines tries to get in at the far post, and the Italians clear. That final ball from England once more, letting them down. Baines with a throw-in and thrown down to Barkley. Barkley nudges the ball into Wilshere. That's such a congested area. Wilshere went past a couple of players, but not the third, and now Pirlo's bringing the ball up. Cahill didn't make the challenge. Pirlo again, he's just holding this and then works it down the left-hand side. Sterling's backtracking, and that's really disappointing for England because he's conceded the free kick and he's got a yellow card for the foul on Pirlo. Dutch referee showing the first yellow card of the night to an England player, to Raheem Sterling, and this just buys Italy more time. They weren't really going anywhere.
No, fair play to Raheem Sterling. He did chase back, 50, 60 yards, in injury time. Just tried to make it was a tired tackle. Just tried to put his foot out and nick the ball. Just a little bit slow, and that's down maybe to the heat and tiredness for him.
England looking shattered now, on their knees. They haven't been outplayed by Italy tonight, but there have been those crucial moments which have cost them.
That's exactly right, mate. There's not an England player that's played badly this evening. No one has really set the place on fire. But I think, when it's come down to those big moments, Italy have just been a little bit better.
Chiellini's hardly put a foot wrong at the back for Italy tonight. Now De Rossi.
It's not been tested though, Mike. No, nobody's got the ball.
Another free kick conceded by him.
No one's got the ball and run at Chiellini. He's not the most mobile. He's a fantastic defender. I think he would be brilliant in the Premier League. But no one has got the ball and run at him and say, come on, let's have a race. And he has not been tested all evening long. And whereas Leighton Baines, constantly tested. Not only as an individual, but also with 2-on-1 situations as well.
Well, it was a big call to leave out Ashley Cole. Baines has had quite a baptism tonight in the World Cup. Andrea Pirlo has got a free kick for Italy, 30 yards away. And obviously the Italian fans in the stadium hoping that he can provide the garnish here. 3-1 would flatter them, I think, on the evening.
It's a long way out, though.
Yes. Joe Hart, who hasn't really had that much to do in the second half, waits. And Pirlo shoots a goal, and it clips off the crossbar. Hart was beaten. All ends up. And England rescued by the bar. And they have a goal kick, and they have a minute and a half to rescue this game.
Joe Hart almost embarrassed. Unbelievable free kick from Andre Pirlo. Outside of the right, but completely did Joe Hart. And the bit of swerve, Pirlo knew exactly what he was doing, and very, very unlucky to hit the crossbar.
Last chance maybe now for England. Johnson into Rooney. Again searching for his first World Cup goal. Rooney to Barkley. Good pass from Barkley to Sterling. Oh, Sterling's given that away cheaply towards Pirlo. Pirlo hasn't had a great header on the ball, though. Pirlo heads it back to the reliable Chiellini, and Pirlo and Chiellini closing the game out now in the left-back position. Italy leading 2-1 into the last minute of the 5 added time. Italy have the ball, and Pirlo with a long pass seeks out Immobile. Gary Cahill was there, and there's precious little time to go now. England have to do something pretty miraculous. They're trailing 2-1. Adam Lallana now in that very congested midfield. Lallana trying to turn, finds Gerrard in midfield. Seconds to go now. The ball down the England right-hand side. They may get one more chance to whip this ball in. Here comes Johnson's cross. Went a long way, wasn't well delivered. Marquisio's back header is still in play. Baines needs some support down the left. He's got a throw in. We have 20 seconds of added time to go. England throw it, reared up at Lallana, and he couldn't control it. And Italy are on a break here, and this could be devastating unless England can get the players back. It's Immobile up against Gary Cahill. Immobile showing great pace. Fantastic challenge from Cahill to deny Immobile. And I'm not sure it's going to be enough now for England. Immobile, following an Italian throw, is just taking the ball towards the corner flag. Time is up here in Manaus. We've been waiting for this for a very long time. All the attention from Roy Hodgson has been on this opening game against Italy. There was meticulous preparation in Florida, but on the night, England found Italy in the end too hot to handle. They were exposed in areas when Italy went forward. There was some entertaining moments from England, a thrilling goal from Daniel Sturridge, but in the end it's a disappointing start to this World Cup campaign, because the final score here, Italy 2, England 1.
Yeah, disappointing for England. Devastating almost, but I think you have to say, on the balance of play, Italy probably deserved to win the game. They had the better chances. Pirlo hit the bar in injury time with a fantastic free kick, and then obviously Candreva hit the post just before half-time as well. Balotelli had one cleared off the line from Jagielka. Nobody played bad for England, but nobody was absolutely brilliant. And England, in those special moments, those defining moments of the game, were just found a little bit wanting. Down this left-hand side, England struggled. It's not down to bad play from Leighton Baines. He got outnumbered 2-on-1. Rooney didn't quite know where he was supposed to be in that first half. That may well have been a plan from Italy. Pirlo didn't run the game as expected. I said several times this week, don't be over-concerned with Pirlo. You know, we don't need to worry about that. But Italy, the big difference is, Italy had a plan when they went forward. Down this right-hand side, definitely. Chiellini didn't really go forward as much, or anywhere near as much as Darmian did. And Candreva in that little pocket, that was a clear ploy. And Italy also looking to play balls in behind the England defence, flip balls over the top. Whereas England were trying to rely on individual moments of magic. And that was the major difference.
Let's go to Ian Dennis down in the tunnel.
Yes, I'm at the mouth of the tunnel. The England players just walking past me now, and obviously you can see them all sweating profusely. We're going to get some reaction too from the England captain, Steven Gerrard, because I actually think he's with Gabby Logan. No, he's not there yet, but that interview will be coming up very, very soon. And if I'll just have to hand back to you, actually, back in the commentary position.
Thank you, Ian. I mean, England don't often win opening games in the World Cup, Danny. That happens very rarely, but they don't often lose them either. So this really is now an uphill task, isn't it? Uruguay next on Thursday, followed by Costa Rica, who beat Uruguay today.
Well, it's now a must-win game, isn't it? It's going to be very, very difficult against Uruguay. A game that England have to win. A game that Uruguay have to win. So I think that the problem will be the fact that, you know, Luis Suarez is likely to play. We've seen how tired England players have been this evening. How are they going to recover?
I think, Ian, are we able to come to you now?
Yes, sorry, Mike. I just had to speak to FIFA here in the tunnel about our after-match requests. But the players look drained as they're coming off. They look physically exhausted. Joe Hart, a lot of shirt swapping going on. Andre Pirlo with his long hair, just drenched with sweat, being embraced by the goalkeeper. He's actually wearing a blue vest underneath his blue shirt. And now the England players have just branched off towards the right, towards their dressing room. England's first defeat in a World Cup finals in the opening game since 1986, and with Costa Rica beating Uruguay earlier on as well, they've now got it all to do, and what a crucial game it's going to be against Uruguay in Sao Paulo. But England are going to have to recover, because physically they're going to be drained from this experience, and after all the optimism and all the confidence going into this game, to lose 2-1 really will hurt them. Back to you, Mark Pugac.